I did it again. I gotta not do that. Quick, drink it. You get like 3 seconds before it starts. So I'm like, let's see if I can get a drink in 3 seconds, because I hate drinking on camera. Eating and drinking on camera when you're doing something like this is like, I don't know, it bothers me. I really don't want to watch you eat. Thanks. I'm interested in what you have to say, but I don't want to watch you eat. But yeah, so it kind of ended really bad. And I quite literally, it's been at least over 24 hours since it's happened. I literally pretty much have been done nothing but lay in bed. Like I've only was only there for a couple hours, and I could still feel how much it crushed my soul. Honestly, that's how deep it is. So to imagine him living in that experience, I don't think anybody realizes how serious it is. And I think definitely on a certain level he's right when says he feels like he doesn't have a lot of friends, because I don't think they understand where he's coming from, what he's dealing with right now. They're very easy to blow him off when he talks about this stuff. And I think in some ways I flippantly kind of blew it off too, without even realizing it, because I wasn't intentionally. I mean, I was listening to every word. It's a really big important thing to me. I really like to make sure that I'm listening to my friends, because I talk a lot, but I really like to make sure that when I am listening, I really am listening, and I'm not just waiting for my turn to speak. So, and I'm always adamant about, if you have something that you really need to talk about and really need to get out with me, if I'm babbling, just tell me to shut up and say I need to say this. Let me finish this sentence. Let me finish this thing that I was saying. And normally, if I do accidentally interrupt you, I really do want you to go back to what you were saying, because I want to hear the rest of the story. So just start back up where you were. If something like that happens, just say, hey, I have a little bit more to say about this. Can I continue or whatever? Just interrupt me. Just interrupt me. I don't care. If I'm halfway through a sentence, if it's important, I'll remember the other part of it after the fact. Just interrupt me. So yeah, part of me feels like I should have left and not taken the invitation to stay for dinner. But part of me is glad, because then now I think I understand a little bit better. Not on a complete level, because obviously just being there for a couple hours is not what it's like being there all the time. And what really frightens me, what really, really, really blows my mind, is if they were trying this hard to look bad and upset me, and just, because people act differently when other people are around. I know that. Everybody thought my parents were the coolest parents in town, because they were so cool when everybody was around. But it wasn't the same when nobody was looking. And that's what terrifies me, because they were so bad in front of me that it's like, Jesus Christ, what are they like when nobody's around, when it's just the family? That's terrifying to me. And it affected me so badly just a couple hours that it's like, Jesus Christ, no wonder he's been having such a hard time. Everybody's like, oh, he's changed, he's different. He's having, I mean, like, well, fuck, yeah, what the fuck? I mean, sorry, there's that word again that I keep constantly using when I get upset. You're not the same person after you've experienced that kind of shit. It changes you forever. It's gonna be there forever. Even if he could get out tomorrow, which I would prefer, because his mom's sitting there going, I would love to have you around for a little while before you move on. That would be the worst fucking thing that could possibly happen. And I'm sure she's very genuine in the fact that she just would like to have her child around for a little bit longer, because she didn't get to raise him as much as she would have preferred. But that's just not the best thing in the world for this situation. The best situation right now, the best thing that could possibly happen, is that he could get out tomorrow. But realistically, that's not really where it's going to work. But, I mean, if I had my choice, that's what would happen. Because this is not okay. It's so frustrating when my friends are having a hard time and I can't do a damn thing about it. It's just, well, I mean, I can. All I can do is offer to give everything I've got. But it's not the same as being able to just, swoop in and save the day and change it. And it's not going to change it. Like, I can't save the day. Even if we get him out tomorrow, I mean, that's still going to be his family. So it's going to be something that he's going to have to deal with for the rest of his life. But again, that's why the fact that you have every right to set up these boundaries and protect yourself. The greatest thing about being 18 and having control over your own fucking life is that you have the right to choose whether or not abusive people are in your life or not. And I don't always do it myself, even though I've worked very hard in my life in the last few years to not have abusive people in my life. I do it to myself. And then I set myself up in a situation and it's like that I become dependent on them. And then I put myself back in the situation that I was as a child. And it's like, that's like the natural thing that I want to do, even though that's not really me. And my therapist even said it when she watched me break down into a PTSD panic attack in front of her. The first time I've ever done that in front of a therapist. I completely lost it. She even said there was one day that I was so upset I threw everything on the floor and was like freaking out. And she says, I will never forget that day. She goes, I was absolutely terrified of you. And she knows my past too, so that's part of it, was that she knew that I have been violent in my past. And she goes, I just was not expecting that, because you're usually a very controlled, composed person. Even if you're in the most excruciating pain, you still have control over it. You have control over that normally. So the couple times that I freaked out on her, especially the last one, she goes, I'm never gonna forget it. And she said, and the worst part of it was, as I was watching that, it just didn't feel right. It wasn't you. It was that other part of you that they forced you to be. That because everybody has that. Not to go into sexuality, but there is a part of it that is sexuality. But the dominant and submissive play thing, where everybody has a certain level of being the dominant control person or the submissive person in their life, not just in their sexuality preferences, but in their life in general. Some people choose to be the submissive person and let other people control them and control the things that are going on in their lives. And other people like to be the dominant person and have control over their lives and control the situation, or just have enough personal whatever to end up being the control. People are naturally born leaders, that kind of thing. So she said that the thing, when I went into the panic attacks and the experience that I was dealing with being in a situation where I was around abusive people, she goes, it just didn't fit you. That it was like apples and oranges. These other personalities that I've seen in you, they ringed true, but the other one just really didn't fit. But it was what I was raised with, and it's the thing that I have to fight against every single day of my life. Like, when I get upset, my first indication is to go drink. Because that's the way I was raised. That my parents, to deal with being upset and dealing with their problems and shit, was to drink themselves silly. And the few times that I've done that were the worst mistakes of my life. And I regretted it like 300 times percent over the next day. So I've learned as an adult that that's not the best decision. And so generally my first instinct to go drink, I stop that thing and go, no, because tomorrow, when you wake up hungover and have done really horribly embarrassing, stupid shit and said things that you shouldn't have said, and so on and so forth, the way alcohol can make you react if you don't use it in a healthy way, it just made it worse. So, but that's like the first instinct, because that's what I was raised as, even though that's not really me and that's not really who I am, but that was what I was raised with. So I've spent 15, 16 years of my life fighting against the way I was raised to be the person who I really am. And that's like the really important thing about what I'm trying to say here, is that once you're an adult, you can do that. And once you're an adult, you have not the right, but the responsibility to do that. To make yourself a better person. To leave this world a better place than it was when you came into it. See ya.